classic American menu with that Mexican twist. We have burgers al pastor. Now this recipe is actually inspired by my special guest that's going to be here in a little bit, Mike Mendelson. I texted him once and I said, you got to give me an idea for a Mexican burger. And he said, why don't you use chiles and pineapples? And I said, that sounds like an al pastor taco. Okay, so an al pastor taco is a beautiful, delicious taco. In every taqueria across Mexico, you can find one. And all it is a marinated pork taco in guajillo chiles, which is exactly what we have here. Now, all I did with this beautiful guajillo chile that you can find at almost any supermarket across the country in the Spanish food section. I just took the stem and the seeds off, and then I let it soak a little bit in boiling water to get it nice and soft, because we're going to make a beautiful paste to marinate our pork. Okay, so I have 3 of those wonderful guajillo chiles that we use a lot in Mexico for salsas or marinade or adobo. Doesn't have that much heat, a whole bunch of flavor, slightly sweet, and almost even a little bit chocolatey, believe it or not. Okay, so we're just going to add that to the blender. To start off, it's kind of like an adobo, but we're only using 1 chile. And then, to keep in the tradition of the al pastor taco, we're using pineapple juice, because when you go across Mexico in the taqueria, and you ask for a taco al pastor, it's the marinated pork meat that's on a vertical spit, and on the top there's a huge slice of pineapple. Now what happens, when that pineapple cooks, it starts to drip, and the juice kind of tenderizes the meat, and it gives it tons of flavor. So we're kind of doing the same thing, and we're going to add the grilled pineapple to the burger in a little bit, but we definitely want the flavor inside the marinade. Okay, so next up, we're just going to add a wedge piece of onion, a couple of garlic cloves straight into the blender, really easy recipe, pinch of salt and pepper. You want to do quite a bit. You want to do like about a teaspoon of salt, just about a 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. You don't want to add too much spice. You've already got plenty of spice from that chile right there. Then we're going to add 1 teaspoon of marjoram, really fragrant, really flavorful, and just a little bit of oregano, about a teaspoon as well. And then you're just going to blend it to get a nice smooth paste that we're going to add to our ground pork. Just let it go. Okay, just like that bright red paste. Perfect. Ooh, I love the marjoram there. So all we're going to do, we're going to add this directly to the pork. 1 pound of ground pork, just pour it over, and then we're just going to mix it in really gently. You don't want to disturb that meat too much. And this is actually going to become your patty in a little bit. You just throw them on the grill with a piece of pineapple, grilled pineapple. So good. And you want to make sure you give it a good few minutes, about 30 minutes, for it to marinate, kind of soak all that flavor, get nice and tender with the pineapple juice, and then you can go ahead and form those patties. Okay, next up, we're going to Mexicanize some fries. Really simple. Nobody tells Spike, but we're using frozen potatoes because this is Mexican made easy, and they come out so delicious, he's not even going to notice. Okay, I've got some beautiful giant steak fries right here. Just kind of spread them out. So we're just going to add a little bit of easy flavor over here. We're going to use the processor. We're going to blend up a couple of ingredients. We're going to start off with a handful of cilantro. So imagine you pop this in the oven just to cook them off, and you get that flavor from the cilantro. And we need a good 1/2 cup, 3/4 of a cup, just about that much. And then we're going to add that garlic clove. And you want it all to kind of spread around evenly. You don't want it to stick in the oven, so we're going to add a couple tablespoons of olive oil, more flavor, and a good pinch of salt. And then just kind of blend it until it looks like a pesto. And then we're just going to smear it over the potatoes before we pop them in the oven. Okay, and then look at that beautiful green color. We're just going to pour this over those potatoes, just like that. And then juicing your hands, you're going to have to get dirty for this one. Just kind of toss them, and that beautiful, it smells so good already, and it's not even in the oven. So just toss them in that beautiful green mixture with the cilantro and the garlic. And then we're going to pop them in the oven, 450 degrees preheated, always preheated, for about 20 minutes. Just make sure you flip them in the middle about 10 minutes later, because you want them to crisp up on both sides. So when we come back, we're going to form those patties. Spike's going to get here. We're going to get that grill going. Just going to have tons of fun. Next, we'll do some grilling and chilling when our perfectly seasoned pork patties hit the flame.
I feel like I'm in Tijuana.
And we blend up an icy cold pitcher of Mexican coffee milkshake.